Hello. Welcome to a special Throwback Thursday episode of Creative Differences, the podcast. Joker's coming out this weekend, so we decided, let's watch The Dark Knight.
But who are you?
Who am I? Who am I? My name's Dallas. Hi, guys.
I feel like that's from a different movie. I'm Colin.
And I'm Demi. I will be taking Gabby's place today.
Wow. Rip to Gabby.
Sorry,
What?
Gabby.
What movie was I referencing?
Mulan.
Who am I?
Yes.
Yeah, there it is.
Yes.
Oh, you didn't realize that when you were
I just
doing
said it.
No.
Oh,
I
I
knew it was
Honestly, I
a
just
quote.
saying it.
I knew it immediately.
But
I have dormant Disney references always in my mind.
Yeah, that was a Mulan reference. Anyway, Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. Man.
2008.
10 years ago.
What
11
a-
year ago.
What a year for
decade.
superhero movies. That was the same year that
Right.
Iron Man came
Oh
out.
my God. That was when there was still a Pacific Theaters in Pasadena.
Probably would consider that the actual beginning of the superhero movie boom.
Depending on how you feel about the Spider-Man movie and the X-Men. And
Well, I feel like that was that was when the trend became like, yeah, we can make superhero movies and we can make good ones, but I feel like the Dark Knight and Iron Man was like when the boom hit. Like that was the start of like the era that we're in now.
That's fair.
Especially because the Dark Knight was the first superhero movie to make $1 billion.
Oh, fun fact. Well, then, yeah, that makes sense. Once you make $1 billion, that's an error.
That's it.
That's an error.
We've started something.
It's like, we made $1 billion. It's going down.
And that was also the first superhero movie to get nominated for an Oscar. I could be wrong,
I wouldn't be surprised.
but I think it was.
Yeah.
I mean, what other ones would have done it before
I mean,
that?
there are more superhero movies than just those. But
Well, I mean,
that-
yeah, but like before that, which ones would have gotten nominated?
yeah,
I
but
mean, they're like the other Oscars, like, visual things.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
sure,
they,
sure,
they
sure,
definitely
sure,
had gotten
sure,
visual
sure,
effects
sure.
noms, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I think that was the first one to get like
An
a
acting.
prestige one, like an acting one, and and I think Best Picture. I want to say he got nominated for Best Picture, but Christopher Nolan didn't get nominated for Best Director, which is what the uproar was about.
Yeah, I
Interesting.
that feels weird.
I mean,
The guy who orchestrated, well, not orchestrated, that's the wrong word. Directed, let's just use that. Most of the movie doesn't get nominated. Like, what makes, I never like when they do that. Like, what makes it Best Picture if you're not also going to nominate the director or the writers or the actors? Like, but
Yeah.
what?
but
We'll get into that
Heath
on
Ledger
today's
got
episode.
but Heath Ledger got the award for supporting actor.
Colin,
Yes.
have you seen this movie before?
Yeah, I saw it when it came out.
Okay, cool.
I think we were together.
Possibly, probably, I don't know. That
Friendship.
makes sense.
Friendship.
I didn't know y'all at all. I saw it at the Pacific Theaters
So
in
did we.
Pasadena. Hey.
Fun fact: that was the first time I ever walked from my house all the way down to that theater.
Oh. Oh, I thought you meant the one by my parents' place.
No,
Oh, right. There was another one.
Rip.
No, the Paseo one.
no, the
Pull one
at
out for the homies.
Pull
Yeah.
one out. Rest in peace.
I love
To
that
both
theater.
of those theaters.
Right?
Both
No, they're
really
the
good
theater
theaters.
that cannot be named. Anyway,
So, yeah, Colin, how'd you feel when you first saw it?
I think I loved it when I first saw it. I think.
I know I did.
I don't remember, man.
think I
I don't have
also-
a memory.
Yeah, I think I also loved it when I saw it in theaters. I remember coming out being really excited about it. That was also back before my absolute need to sit close to the front of the theater. So I think
Interesting.
we were pretty close to the back when we saw that movie.
Wow.
Does that change
Everything
things?
was different. I mean, yeah, that's why she sits in the front all the time.
I am a different person
She's
now.
a different person.
Jesus.
But it's funny because I remember seeing this movie, and before I saw it, I was like kind of opposed to Nolan's whole vision of like, let's make it realistic and let's make
Really?
it gritty. And I was like, no, it's a superhero movie. Where are my cartoons? And
That's
I
what
was
your
like-
wife said.
Yeah. And especially, I think because Batman Begins, I didn't like the look. I didn't like Scarecrow just like wearing a business suit and a burlap sack. I didn't like the Batmobile just kind of being a big bulky
It's a
thing.
tank.
Yeah, I was like, no,
That's so
I want the
crazy.
cartoon.
So I think for me, I wasn't into superheroes yet.
Right.
And that movie came out when Batman Begins came out when we were in middle school.
Yeah,
And I remember
13.
my parents taking me and my brother to go see it along with like some of my dad's coworkers.
Yeah.
I think to this day, Batman Begins is actually my favorite film in that series.
Interesting.
I think that the origin story is so well done in that one.
Mhm.
But yeah, I loved Batman Begins. So
Mhm.
like to get the Dark Knight like years later was just like, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah. I think I hadn't actually seen Batman Begins when Dark Knight came out. I had seen like stuff about it, and I was like, I'm not sure I like this. And then I saw Dark Knight, and I was like, yo, that's amazing.
What is this?
I was like, yo, Nolan, you got one. But, back then I didn't care who directed what. I didn't know who Nolan was. But it was just, I really liked the story, the characters, the writing, stuff like that. Which, going to your point, Colin, for me, it wasn't really about, like, this guy directed it in such a way. Although he also wrote it. So shout out to him for that.
Him and
Goyer did the story with him, and then I think other Nolan, I don't remember his name, sorry, did it with him, like as far as the screenplay goes. But it was like the writing and the performances that really did it for me.
Yeah, it's such a well-written movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think the story, it's also one of the few superhero movies that I think has multiple villains in it that actually does it really well.
Yes.
Because, I mean, the story is, how do you explain the story? The story is that Batman has to deal with this crazy clown-like psychotic character that suddenly enters town and is causing a bunch of chaos for the sake of causing chaos. And he's trying to figure out, how do I stop somebody whose entire being is just randomness for the sake of being random.
Yeah.
But then there's also the Two-Face story where he's trying to, I think this was the start of Batman looking for somebody to take his place.
Right.
Because in this series, Batman is it's like, you know, like in the comic books, Batman is Batman because Gotham needs a hero.
Yeah.
But this Batman is also looking for somebody to take up the mantle or do it in a way that doesn't require Batman to exist.
Right. He's trying to just, you know, lay up with Rachel. He ain't got time to be chasing criminals in the streets.
And in this version, he finds it in Harvey Dent.
Right.
But this is also an origin story for how Harvey Dent becomes Two-Face.
Which is one of the things that, like you said, it has a lot of, or multiple villains, but does it well. And I agree with that. But I was always a little bit salty because I love Two-Face. Really? And I have since the cartoon. And I always wanted him to get his own movie. And I would have liked this to be like, I guess, not a backdoor pilot because it's a movie, but kind of like the intro to what the next movie would be with Two-Face's story.
You didn't want Two-Face to be a side plot unless it was leading to something bigger.
Yeah, I was like, cool, next time let's get the Two-Face movie because now we've seen how he started, but like he died.
Which
spoiler alert.
Crazy.
Sorry.
Because it's also like Joker was definitely supposed to be the third movie. Because they leave it open, and then Heath Ledger passed away, and it was like, ooh.
They're like, who else we? Bane.
It's a really well done story, though. It's
very well done,
and it's also very thematically rich. There's like so many themes that are running through it, and all done really well. Although like the very superficial, surface level philosophical portions are the part that fanboys have taken and totally misconstrued.
Oh boy.
And that's why we are where we are right now with these grim, dark superhero movies.
We'll come back to that.
I don't like this movie anymore.
Really?
When did you stop?
When I watched it yesterday. Like,
that makes sense.
I hadn't thought about it because I don't think about it ever. And I remember liking it, and then I watched it yesterday, and I was just like, man, I do not like this movie, and it feels really long. The story it's fine. I think it's a bit, how can I phrase this without cursing?
You can curse.
I think it's a bit full of itself with its like all the philosophy and stuff. I think it does that for too long. Like, we don't need 5 different philosophical discussions about what is human nature and are we really good? Do we just want to cause chaos? Blah, blah, blah. When the chips are down, what are we going to do? Like, that's so much of this movie. And it's like, you hammer that point home really early, but you keep hammering it home throughout the 2.5 hours. And I'm like, no, thank you.
The thing is, though, I think that's what, I don't want to just say DC movies, but DC movies are the ones that are like super grim dark now for no reason at all. I feel like that's kind of what those ones have been missing. Like, they tried to follow Nolan's footsteps in like his vision and the way that he did things because he did The Dark Knight so well.
Right.
It is like top tier superhero movie, but like I feel like it misses the heart that The Dark Knight and the rest of these Batman movies had.
Interesting.
And part of that is the consideration of humanity. And because that's what superheroes are, it's the exploration of how good we can be and what we can do as people,
right?
What our moral compasses are. And I think The Dark Knight does that well. Although I can see why your complaint would be that there's far too much of it.
See, that's my thing is I feel like this movie, it doesn't make me feel any of that humanity from Batman. I don't get that from him at all. I get it entirely from the boat scene. That scene I think is fantastic. That is the best part of this movie for me. And the rest of the movie just never lives up to that.
And I think that's what most of the DC movies were lacking until we got Wonder Woman. Because Wonder Woman kind of has that same message of, remember, like when Chris Pine's character goes to her and he's like, it's not about what they deserve.
Right.
But you have to because, like, we have to try. Like, it's just about trying.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like that's what The Dark Knight had that some of the DC movies have been lacking recently. But I feel like Shazam and Aquaman and Wonder Woman have kind of brought those back.
I don't know so much about Aquaman, but Shazam and Wonder Woman, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Aquaman was more just fun for the sake of fun, and that's fine.
That's fine, yeah. That's true. But yeah, I think the story is done well, but I can see
I rock with it. I love the story.
I can see where Colin's criticism comes in. I'm a sucker for anything that's very least thematically rich, though.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, like, I can always see the same issues that certain people see. Just for me, a lot of times it's about how much it bothers you. And it was like, yeah, I'm hearing a lot of the same thematically relevant statements. Like, you guys have said this a lot. We get it, Joker. One little push. That's all it takes. But, like, I love the movie, and I love the performance and the story. So it's like, that's not going to make me dislike it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to, like, okay, the movie's 2 hours and 32 minutes. Maybe could have been 2:15 or 2:20, but whatever. I'm rocking with it. Let's do it.
Oh, man. Speaking of characters.
So...
Because these are iconic characters.
Yes. And at this point, I'm coming from a place of, like, I have a version of all these characters in my head, and it's always inspired by the animated series from the 90s. And these characters are great, but it's just, they're not quite the version that I want.
You want cartoon, like the...
Not even like I want it to be cartoony.
Yeah.
It's just the way that they handle themselves. Like,
I mean, even the Batman the Animated Series, they weren't cartoony.
Exactly. Like, they were realistic in a different way. Like, Christian Bale's Batman, we've all heard for years about the way that he sounds like he's gargling rocks when he talks. And it's like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And I also don't like that his Bruce is really douchey.
Rewatching it today, I realized how much I appreciate Christian Bale's Batman.
Yeah.
Because it always feels like Batman is the person and Bruce Wayne is the mask.
That's one thing I definitely think they got right.
Yeah, because Bruce Wayne is, he's kind of a douche.
But that's what I didn't like because, like, in the cartoon, he's not like that. He's a rich dude. He's really nice and friendly. The only difference is, like, he has this cluelessness about him. They're like, that guy can't be Batman. He's an oaf. But he's not, like,
there's a little bit of that in this
mean-spirited.
movie, too, though.
Right, like the car and everything like that. But it's just, like, the way they go about certain things. But to be honest, every other character, like Joker and Two-Face, I love them 100%.
There are certain things about this version of Batman that I really enjoy because there are things about it that are very comic book like. Like the scene where he's talking to Lucius and the sonar thing where he connects it to every phone in the city, and Lucius is like, that's messed up. Consider this my resignation. I don't want to be a part of any of this. And Bruce is like, fine, just do this for me. Type in your name, and then whatever you want to do after that, it's up to you. That felt very much like Batman because Batman is willing to do maybe not the wrong thing, but he's willing to cross a line that you shouldn't cross in order to save the day, and then make sure that you still have hope in him because he realizes what he did was wrong, but he did it for the greater good.
Right, and that's why at the end the machine self-destructs because he's like, I only needed to catch this one guy. I don't plan on using this again ever. Yeah. But he's always one step ahead. Like, I know Lucius isn't going to be about that. Yeah. I know if I just tell him to type his name, it'll destroy the machine, problem solved. Which is cool.
So, like, there were moments in this where I was just like, yeah, this feels like comic book Batman, and these are the things that I like about Batman. Yeah. Let's be honest here, the real reason people keep watching The Dark Knight is for the Joker.
Yeah, and that's the reason why we're doing this episode for the Joker, because, new Joker is, however you feel about the discourse and blah, 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 blah. The movie itself is being critically praised, Joaquin Phoenix, blah, 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 blah. So this is the only comparable Joker we have in live action. Yes. Because, people like Jack Nicholson, but he wasn't on the Heath Ledger level like that. As far as, like, after Heath Ledger's Joker came out, everybody was like, oh my God, it's the best thing ever.
Colin, what do you think about Heath Ledger's Joker?
I fucking hate the Joker. Like, he's just... I don't like villains whose motivation isn't... What's the word? Like, isn't for something like they can actually do something with. Like, if you want to destroy the world, or if you just want to cause chaos, that kind of thing. I don't like that kind of motivation because once you get it, what do you do? And Joker to me is like, I just want people to go crazy. It's like, cool, that tells me nothing about you or who you are or who you want. Like, so I'm not interested in that.
So basically, you're just not interested in Joker as a character at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
That's who Joker is. That's the basis of the character is I'm doing things to do things. And like,
yeah, that's not
chaos is
right. So this situation is like you're taking a character that Colin hates and adapting him. Colin's not going to not hate the character, regardless. But Heath Ledger's performance, man. He was I don't think you like the Joker as a character very much either.
Okay, no, I mean, yes, I like the character. Joker is a love to hate character for me. Okay. Because yes, I love the Joker as a character. I'm fascinated by a character who his whole motivation is chaos because I don't understand that. I can't possibly be a person who's just about chaos. I need some sort of order in my life. Right. Like I can't function like that. But he's a horrible person. You're supposed to hate him. Yeah. Like, and I love to hate him. That's where I'm at with that character. And I like Heath Ledger's I mean, I love his interpretation of the Joker. It's a different interpretation than we had before.
Yeah.
And he's just really good.
He's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
His performance was amazing. Also, I like the character, partially inspired by my nostalgia of, animated series, because that Joker is one that you don't have to hate, because
I don't know, bro.
aside from when he starts being, abusive to Harley.
Yeah, that's why I hate
That's
him.
a different thing. But this one doesn't have that aspect of it at all.
Yeah,
So
because
it's
he doesn't have that.
Yeah, if I'm going to hate you for, being a killer, I'll hate you for that. But it's as far as, like, as a character yourself, he's always one step ahead. He kind of matches Batman on that level. It's just like...
You know what? That's what I thought that this movie caught really well from the comics, was that codependent relationship between Joker and Batman.
Right.
And I think Joker even talks about it,
yeah, he
too.
says you complete me.
He's like, yeah, like, you need me. Like, I can't kill you because you're just way too much fun.
Exactly.
And you can't kill me, like, because it's not a part of who you are. You can't do it. They really embodied that within the film.
Yeah.
That comic book relationship that they have, and they did it really well.
I think they did an amazing job with it. And there's just so
Also,
many things like the Joker does in this movie.
Heath's mannerisms, too.
Yeah.
Like the weird, he licks his lips a lot. I looked it up later. He licks his lips a lot in the film. It became a tick of the Joker's because the prosthetics kept falling off. Oh. So he had to lick his lips in order to keep it attached to his face. So he was just like, fine, I'm just going to make it part of the character that I just do it a lot.
Getting his Barty Crouch on.
Yeah, there's still like one scene in that movie that I can't bring myself to watch. I always look away. The scene where he's like, I'm gonna do a magic trick.
Pencil?
And he puts the pencil. I can't. Ever since I saw it in theaters, I can't. I look away from the screen every time.
So that's interesting, because that's one of the things. When I was watching it again last night, I rerun that a few times, because one thing I really do like about Christopher Nolan is that he doesn't have to shy away from violence, but he can do it in a way that isn't excessively gory or bloody.
It doesn't feel
There's
like...
no blood in this movie.
No, there's not.
But the things, if you describe the situations that happen, like he shoves a pencil into a man's face, he shoots a bunch of people, he lights a dude on fire, but they're all in a way that, like, he slams the dude's head, guy goes back, pencil's gone. You don't see the pencil in his face.
Yeah.
There's no blood.
I mean,
There's no screaming.
John Wick has a very similar action sequence, and that's not what that looks like at all.
Exactly. So, like, other people would be like, oh, we gonna show you this blood. You gonna get this work. But, like, Nolan does it in such a way that I don't feel like, ugh, or like really grossed out by it, because of the way he, like, kind of censors it.
Yeah.
Scenes like that show you that the Joker isn't just a crazy dude. He's also, like, very adept physically. Like, he fights a lot of people in this movie. And that dude is, like, one of the Gotham City goons. And he takes care of him no problem.
He catches him off guard a little bit, though.
Definitely. But it's like, how many times can you get caught off guard? You're going over there to fight this dude. So what do you expect?
Oh, man. Yeah, no, this movie is just... Like, I wish I could, like, pick out a specific visual or, like, sound thing or whatever that I really love about this movie, but it's all just so well done and all well put together that it's like, there's nothing really that I can just be like, yeah, that in particular is, like, amazing. It's like, no, like, it's all done really well. Even, like, the look of it, like, even if you don't like the grim, dark look, that the tone or whatever, like, I mean, it fits a Batman movie. It's Batman.
And it's not super, super dark, like, visually.
Yeah,
it's not super dark.
It's not like they desaturated the screen.
Yeah.
It's just, there's a lot of black, there's a lot of white, it's very monochromatic, and it just, it
looks like what you would expect Gotham to look like.
Yeah. It's almost film noir, which is what Matt Reeves is going for with his Batman.
We'll see how that turns out. I think it's going to be good.
I'm so excited.
I don't know what the hell is going on with where it lines up with DC's little continuity or whatever.
Who knows? Colin.
That's not important. Colin.
Visuals, sound. Did you have anything in particular or anything that you didn't like in there or liked at all?
I didn't really pay attention to those. I mean, I was just watching the movie, like...
They don't stand out too much.
I feel like if you're doing your job well, then they shouldn't stand
And that's
out
the thing is, I feel like this movie, there was nothing in it visually or sound-wise that I felt like was trying to be anything more than what the movie needed at the time.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't feel like this movie, because certain movies, sometimes there'll be shots and it's like, oh, you're doing that because you want to show off that you can do this shot. Like Black Panther in the casino, when the camera zooms after, I think, Okoye as she goes down the stairs. Like, you're trying to do a thing with that. And it's cool. But, like, this movie, I feel like, didn't do that. At least not that I noticed.
Yeah. So, like I said, like, if you're doing your job well, it's all going to flow naturally.
Yeah.
So
unless what your job is is to make it not like to make it stand out.
Yeah, unless you want it to be flashy.
Yeah, if you want it to be neon like Atomic Blonde style, then it's gonna stand out.
But even then, like, there's something to be said. Like, you could probably analyze what the different colors. Like, yeah, okay, it's neon, but these particular colors we're using for a specific reason.
Using for a specific. But like Nolan was like, yeah, it's realistic. Real life looks like real life. It doesn't look like you walked into a movie scene. So it's just gonna look like what it would look like if we pointed a camera somewhere.
I did notice that Nolan is not like the best action director, though.
I am not a huge fan of the fight scenes. I think also Batman is just so stiff. I don't know if it's the Christian
costume.
Bale's costume.
Which is funny because he specifically talks about that in the movie.
He does. Yeah.
He does. And it's like, okay, the first scene, he's fighting super stiff and he talks about like, I want better movement or whatever. It's like, okay, cool. I'll give you that. That's canon or whatever. But then he just keeps fighting like that up until the point where he beats up Bane at the end of the third movie. Like, his movements are just so... It feels like they're really trying not to hurt each other, like the actors.
Oh, okay.
And they don't want to be... Like, they want to be really careful.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. I'm going to put my arms up. Now you put your arms down, and I'll put my arms down.
I'm really hoping that I enjoy the Batman action sequences more than I have with the recent Batman movies. I didn't like them in Batman versus Superman either.
That was the one thing everybody really liked, as far as I know.
For me, I was like, it looks so telegraphed. I was like, okay, he's going to punch here. And now he's going to punch here. Every time I watch that movie, that's what I think about, and I don't want to feel that way when I'm watching a fight scene.
That's interesting, because that's how I feel about this one. But that's not how I feel about Batfleck and his little
This one, I feel like
situation.
they're really stiff.
Yeah.
But with Batfleck, I was like, I feel like I know exactly where you're about to throw your punch, and I don't like it.
A lot of people were comparing it to the Arkham games, which I haven't played very much. But I guess if you're really into that, then that's the fight scene you like.
But I feel like the Arkham games are more fluid, with all the jumping and the dodging and the... You can do... Like, the whole point of the Arkham games is movement. That you can do a combo where you're just moving from one to the other, to the other, to the other. And it is very
Well, that's
fluid.
the thing, is I felt like Affleck's was very fluid, because he's, like, jumping over things, grabbing dudes on his way down, pulling them here. Like, he's not in one space too much. So I think it could also still be very choreographed. Yeah, especially if you're going to have a man who's, like, pushing 50 doing all these fluid.
I don't know if maybe it's just, like, his suit itself just looks too bulky. And, like, Batman is supposed to be very... acrobatic. He's more of a gymnast. He's not a bulky guy. So I mean, that's why Nightwing is Nightwing, because you know they train to do gymnastic stuff.
To be fair, and I don't want to spend too much time on Ben Affleck's, but that is inspired by Dark Knight Returns, and that one is super bulky.
He's bulky.
Like, he looks like a Lego. So like,
he looks like a Lego.
Yeah, that's the whole different thing. But
that's fair. But
also not a super big fan of the fight scenes in these movies.
But like I said, this one's like, these Batman movies are not for the action. These are for the story, for the character, for the philosophy, all of that. And that's what these are here for. That means that we can move on to what are you expecting from Joker?
You didn't do our favorite part.
I mean, is there a favorite? I thought that's what is there a favorite aspect of the...
Let's get Collins out of the way, because I feel like he might have one, he might not.
Rude.
Do you have a favorite aspect?
Get me out of the way, motherfucker.
I mean, do you have one?
Hands. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. Oh. I mean, that boat scene at the end is...
Such a great boat scene.
Like, the part of the movie that I'm like, make the movie this. Like, I love that. That, like, you know, people coming together to be like, nah, we're not going to play that game. We're not going to be terrible. Like, I love that part of the movie. It's just, it stands out as being like, oh, this is what this movie is about. You had 2 hours and like 15 minutes of the Joker being like, people are terrible, blah, blah, blah. And then the entire movie pivots on the climax of, no, they're not.
Right.
And I think that's great.
Yeah, it's not really about Batman having to stop Joker. It's about having the people stop Joker.
There's also a line that Batman said, like, this whole city just showed you that it's full of people ready to believe in good.
Yeah.
Like, psych, you thought.
But you thought.
They didn't blow each other up, so get wrecked, Joker.
What about you, Dallas?
So, I have a lot of favorite aspects of this film. I'm just going to pick one, because I didn't really get to talk about him during the characters. But freaking Two-Face. I love Two-Face.
That's when I became an Aaron Eckhart fan.
Same. I didn't know who he was when this movie came out.
I didn't either.
But he is amazing. And, like, everything about his performance, the way that he, like, flips, no pun intended, flips on a, like, you know, on a dime. But, like, God. His quick, like, how quick he is to anger in certain parts, like, afterward. Yes. It's like they're showing you that two sides of it. But he's so charismatic and so charming before everything happens. Yeah. Like, that is peak Harvey Dent. And he's so good, like...
They do it really well, too.
As Two-Face, as Harvey, he's great on both. Yeah. Like, every time he does the coin flip, like, when the cop is like, I don't know what they're going to do to you, and he says, oh, that's funny, I don't know what's going to happen to you either. Like, that scene right there, I'm like, yo, Aaron Eckhart is that dude.
Yeah, they do it really well with his flip because because that was that's kind of the whole point of his character, not just because he's Two-Face,
right?
But like this idea, because even Jim and Bruce have a conversation at the end of the movie where Jim is like, we put everything into this dude.
He was our white knight.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the guy, and like Joker tore him down.
Yeah.
I love that about the film, that he's just like, he was supposed to be the big hero guy that we put our faith in. Batman put his faith in this guy, and he turned out he wasn't capable. He wasn't up to that standard, I guess you could say.
Yeah, he couldn't endure as much as,
He couldn't endure the loss of Rachel.
Yeah, he listened to his girlfriend die. That was tough.
It's rough.
And he got his, half his body
burned
torched,
to a crisp.
Yeah, it's rough. That's
Not
rough,
even
buddy.
his whole body. I think it was just his face.
It's pretty much just to the shoulder.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the scene where he's rolling around, they don't really show how much of his body is on fire.
They do.
It was like his torso.
Well,
and his
yeah,
face.
because you
'Cause it's not a
specifically
full body
see
shot.
when he's on the floor, getting the oil on him, it doesn't go any lower than like this, and
And
then
you
when
see
he catches
Jim.
on fire, you see where it stops.
Okay, because when he gets the oil on him, they're not showing his full body.
No.
So I didn't know how much it was. And when he's rolling around, I'm just like, oh my God, your face. I wasn't really looking for where the fire stopped.
I think my favorite aspect of this film is probably just the writing in general. I think it's just a good story. The characters are all well thought out. They're all really well fleshed out as well.
Yeah.
Also, I like movies. For a superhero movie, there's so many layers to it.
Yeah.
Most superhero movies are very simple, and that's not a bad thing.
Right.
They have their theme and they're sticking to their one theme, whereas this movie seems like it's trying to have multiple things going on with it at once.
Right. Definitely.
However, before we move on to the next thing, I do want to mention the nitpick that I had.
Okay, because I have one too, and mine is probably very small and silly. But what's
then
yours?
You should go first then, if yours is small and silly.
This one really specific scene, and there's stuff like this throughout the movie, is I feel like Nolan was like, I really want this line, or I really want this scene,
I have a feeling I know where this is
and
going.
I'm not really sure how to make it work logistically or realistically, but I'm just gonna throw it in there anyway. But the scene when the Joker comes in looking for Harvey.
Yes. Oh my God. I was
and
thinking
he's
about that
going
yesterday.
around the room, and he's like, where's Harvey then? Outside of for his loved ones, da 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 da. He gets to Rachel, tells the whole little story about the scars, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, yo, this scene is dope. This is great. And then she kicks him, and he says, ooh, a little fight in you. I like that. And then Batman, out of nowhere, says, then you're gonna love me. And he hits him. And I'm like, that is a dope line. That is a dope scene. But where the hell did Batman come from? There is no possible way. I rewound it. I looked.
You were like, where in this
at
crowd?
Different shots. I was like, okay, this is the brightest room of all time.
It is.
Joker's in the center of the room with Rachel.
Okay, so here's what happened, right?
What happened?
Here's what happened.
I'm going to shoot it down, but tell me what happened.
So
Did he come from the
Bruce
chandelier?
left the room.
Uh-huh.
He was in. I think he was in the room. Was he in the room?
He left.
He left.
Yes.
He
To
left.
go,
Cool.
you
He
know,
left.
this thing.
He came back as Batman, and people saw him, and he just started shushing them.
See,
He was making
here's
an
my
entrance.
thing. That's the only, the most realistic, and how silly that explanation is. It's the most realistic thing, because there's no way that crowd of people, including the ones working for Joker, didn't say anything.
Hey,
when
wait.
Batman,
I know you're being threatened. I know you're scared,
just
but
came in
I need to make an entrance.
I need to make an
but
entrance.
nah, if he walked through everybody would, it's Batman. The goons, they're showing them up to the point where he says, you're gonna love me. The Joker's people are holding their guns, scanning the crowd. So he's not in the room. He couldn't have fallen from the ceiling. Someone would have, oh my God, Batman's falling from the ceiling.
I also would have heard that and looked up.
There's no, it couldn't have been a trap door. Someone, oh my God, Batman's coming up from the floor. It was just he's not, there's literally no possible way Batman is in that room. And then he's just
That's an interesting nitpick that I did not catch.
'Cause
Although
it's
I
just
think
like-
I thought
See-
about it too. I was like, okay, he just came out of nowhere. Cool.
All right.
Where the hell did
if
you
we're
come
talking about nitpicks,
Okay.
my favorite is when the Joker goes to see Harvey after he's Two-Face.
Yes.
God.
And he has to wait until he takes off the mask
To
for Harvey to
recognize
recognize him. Did you not get the white paint and the top
eyes,
half of his
The weird
everything.
hair color.
right? Like it's just
He
when you
takes
saw the mouth,
the
and you're like,
surgical
oh,
mask off his mouth, and he's like, I know that mouth.
what that mouth do?
Exactly.
All right, my nitpick is, and it's way different than yours,
I figured.
because mine is what happens is not by any fault of the movie, does not make the movie worse in any
Okay.
way, shape, or form. It's
Yeah.
just that if you had used the idea that I came up with, it would probably just be better for comic book fans.
Interesting.
They make it a big deal about Jim Gordon's relationship with his son, James Jr.
Right.
And
Does he have a daughter?
He does. There are
She's
two
in
kids.
that scene.
There is a daughter.
But then
two
his
kids
in there.
wife is named Barbara. Did they name the kid after
Yeah, that's in
her?
the comics too.
Okay, cool.
So that was my thing. I was like, how cool would it have been if instead of it being the relationship between him and his son,
why did
it was
they
him
do
and
that?
Barbara?
Right.
And then because at the end of the movie, literally the like last scene is the kid asking, "Hey, why is Batman running away?" And like he's like and Batman saves him.
Right.
It's a whole thing.
Like that should have been Barbara.
It should have been Barbara. And I was just like, do you know how cool it would have been to just have it be Barbara?
Right.
Barbara is suddenly like enamored with the idea of Batman.
Right.
Hey, where's Batman going? Why is Batman running off? And then like the next movie, obviously I don't think we see the kid again. But
I don't think so.
like it's still ingrained in your head. Oh my gosh, that's the seed. This is Barbara Gordon and she's about to become
Yeah,
Batgirl.
that'd be dope.
Like that would have been dope. And that's like I said, it doesn't make the movie any worse.
Right.
It just would have been way more fun for comic book fans to be like, oh my gosh, it's baby Batgirl.
Especially because we see the daughter in that scene.
She's in the scene
just
and
sitting
says
there
nothing.
quietly, and I'm like, that's Batgirl.
Yeah.
Just chilling.
That's Batgirl, but let's focus on the son who like in the future is not going to do anything
Right.
to help society. So
Wow, okay.
The kid
I think
sucks, Jim.
in some comics he's like a psychopath.
Oh.
He actually tries to frame Joker for his crimes in some comic series. So yeah, just let it be Barbara.
That's actually kind of dope, then, because like if Joker pointed a gun in my face, I probably want to frame him too. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
I was like watching the end of the movie and I was like, this is great, but if it was Barbara, oh my gosh. Never has to pop up again. It's just that's the future Batgirl. But anyway,
Speaking of the future,
Joker
all right, guys, Joker's coming out.
out tonight.
It's out, and you probably heard a lot of discourse. I know you've heard a lot of discourse. Colin,
I mean, maybe not. I feel like there are quite a few people out there who just don't care about the discourse, just want to see the movie.
I mean that's me. That doesn't mean I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
Like I haven't been able to avoid it. I'm not trying to hear it. It's just it'd be popping up.
It's there. Well, what are you expecting out of this Joker film? Based off of everything we've heard at this point.
I expect it to be good. I always expected it to be good. I like Todd Phillips movies. Joaquin Phoenix is a good actor. I like the character. I love Zazie Beetz. I love Brian Tyree Henry.
Zazie Beetz was the moment where I went, oh, dang, I'm actually going to have to see this movie. Right now.
But I was like, yeah, look at this movie. And like, yeah, it looks grimdark. It looks gritty. It looks all of those things that the DC fanboys love. And, more power to them. I don't have a problem with that inherently.
I don't either, as long as it fits whatever character you're dealing with.
Yeah, I think with Joker, that's a fine route to take it. I'm not looking forward to all of the, oh my God, this is cinema. All those other superhero movies are just movies, but this is a film.
This
and
isn't
this
a
is what
superhero
da-da-da-da-da.
movie.
Oh my God. It's like, people are like, this isn't a comic book movie. This is more. And it's like, no, stupid. This is a movie based on a comic book. This is a comic book movie. That's how that formula works.
That also denigrates comic books as a medium. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of what people are pulling from was in the comics. Like, comics are capable of just as much emotion and depth as any other medium.
Right.
People need to recognize
And
that.
it feels like this one is taking a lot less from the comic books, actually. Like,
From
except
what I've
for the
heard,
fact
yeah.
that they, except that it's loosely based off of the Killing Joke origin.
Right.
Like, it feels like they were trying to distance themselves from comic books as much as
Right.
possible. And
But then, yeah,
part of me is just like, why? Like, this
you
is-
got
if-
the cinema bros and all those people who are like, oh, like that medium is for children, da da da. Like I think it's Bill Maher, who
Yes.
finds a new way to be a dick every week, but just
Yeah.
like he was talking about comic book movies and just like going out of his way to insult people who enjoy them, and it's like, why is your main hobby insulting people who believe in or enjoy something? It's like, why can't you just enjoy the things you enjoy
I don't
without
know.
denigrating everybody else? But yeah, Bill Maher sucks.
So I agree with you. I feel like this movie's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I agree with the story route they seem to have taken,
Okay.
or this, like, white guy gets gets beat down in life and decides that mass murder is the only way to solve his problems.
Right.
We don't see enough of that in the news today, I guess. All right, cool, fine. Let's watch a movie about it with a superhero villain. And when this has already happened, where a guy dressed up as the Joker and shot up a movie theater.
Yeah, I'm a lot more worried about this movie than I have been in a while, as far as like a movie coming out and like how it's going to affect people.
Yeah. But
Because people take movies way too seriously.
They do nowadays, yeah. But I mean, I can acknowledge that I can appreciate a movie for being great or like looking great or being made well.
Yeah.
Maybe even the story might even be really well written.
Right. And
I don't know.
we haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet.
Mhm.
It could be a really well written story, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I have to agree with the way that they decided to tell the story.
Right.
But I'm sure that
when we review it, we'll have some more in-depth thoughts about that.
But I'm sure Joaquin Phoenix does a fantastic job. He's Joaquin Phoenix. Todd Phillips, the only thing I think I've ever seen him do is The Hangover.
That makes sense.
Which
is
is
a big one.
A very different movie than what we're about to watch. And I mean, this movie's being compared very much to like Scorsese movies. And, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's a lot of inspiration. Have you seen Due Date?
No.
It's so fun.
Wait. Is that the one?
Tony Stark. And
yes,
Zach
never mind. I have seen that
Yeah,
one.
he made that movie too.
I don't remember anything about that movie.
Jamie Foxx is in it.
Yeah. Yes.
That's a fun movie.
Was that the Jamie Foxx one?
Jamie Foxx is in the Due Date, yeah. He plays Iron Man's friend.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. See, I don't remember nothing about that. Yeah. But I'm, like, looking forward to it, and I'm also not looking forward to it. Because, like you said, the discourse is just...
Yeah.
I don't want to jump into it. I don't want to be involved. I just want to see the movie and then just forget about it.
But, you know, I will be happy to call people out on their pretentiousness, as I tend to do.
If Pattinson's Batman, if Pattinson is not a part of the DCEU, do you think that there would ever be a crossover between, not a crossover, that's stupid because it's Batman and Joker, but do you ever think that Pattinson's Batman will meet Joaquin Phoenix's Joker?
That's a good question.
Would you want to see that?
Sure.
I feel like it's too early to tell. We don't know what Pattinson's Batman is, and technically we don't really know what Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is until we've seen the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too early for me to say whether I want to see it because, like, yeah, I always want to see Batman fight the Joker. If this is our Batman and this is our Joker, sure, mix it up.
I mean, there's also, you can always say based off of the potential, like based off of the fact that I know that Robert Pattinson's a great actor. I know that Joaquin Phoenix is a great actor. So putting those two together, I would hope that that would be a really good movie. So yeah, I'd probably want to see it. Now, once we get more information,
yeah, we'll figure out. This reminds me of that post that's going around that somebody was like, a Batman versus Joker movie would make the Avengers look like the Powerpuff Girls. And I was like, yo, I have so many.
Oh, The Guardian.
There's so many things. Was it The Guardian?
It was The Guardian.
And it's like, bro, you know how many Batman versus Joker movies there have been already?
A lot.
That's just called a Batman movie for the most part.
That's why I said it's not a crossover. That's so stupid.
Right, like that's a Batman versus Joker movie. Like, that's the Batman movie. But also, Powerpuff Girls slaps. Like, what are you talking about?
Oh, man. This is not a podcast about Powerpuff Girls, but, man, if we ever find a way to make one about the Powerpuff Girls, we will.
We're going to get one of these days.
All right, guys. That is our Throwback Thursday for The Dark Knight. Let us know what you guys' thoughts are on The Dark Knight.
Do you love it like a lot of people? Do you dislike it like Colin? Do you hate it like somebody out there probably does?
And what are you anticipating for The Joker? Or if you've already seen The Joker, let us know what you guys think.
Excuse you. It's Joker. Drop the. It's
You're
douchier.
right. It's Joker.
It is Joker.
Like
Facebook.
Yeah. I didn't want to say it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I made the reference. It's fine.
He did. Yeah, he opened that door. I just slid right into it.
I was thinking it, yeah. All right.
What's wrong, Colin? You have a problem with me sliding right in? On that weird note, shout out to Crown Digital. They put us on Spotify. They put us on Apple Podcasts. We put ourselves on YouTube. Haha, independence. You can find us on Twitter at y'all_different. I almost said Creative Differences. Don't go there. That's not us. You can find us on Tumblr at Creative Differences Podcast. You can find us on Facebook if you just type in Creative Differences and look for our little logo with the microphone. You can find me, personally, just me, on Twitter at a king named Simba.
You can find me on Twitter at Duck McUp.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dreamy Films, spelled DREEMI. Thank you guys for joining us.
It's been different. Colin, do your best Joker laugh.
Nope.
Yeah, okay.